you're back with us on See the Stories on Ardianingsih today. And still with us, Wuri, and we still have a lot of questions. Okay, so next question. What are actually the best alternative for children to reduce their dependence on technology?
Okay. There are lots of alternatives that we can provide to our children. We don't need to think very complicatedly.
Yeah.
We can involve them to, as I've mentioned before, our daily activities. For example, since they woke up in the morning, we can invite them to make up their bed. It's not only teaching them for discipline, but also to stimulate their muscles. That's also good. And we can ask them, for example, help us to garden, water the plant. Or when, for example, if we are cooking, we can invite them to help us washing the vegetables, washing the fruits. It's also interesting for them. We can also ask them to walk around the neighborhood, to see around, and we can discuss what they see, what they feel, what they smell along the walk. And we can also ask them to, play some board games or sports or arts. The thing is, it's not, what important is not the activity that we choose, but how we engage with our children when we are doing the activity. So it doesn't matter what kind of activity that you choose, well, as long as it's not harmful and it's child-friendly. What matters is we can't have a high engagement. We are truly present. We are mindful. We give our 100% time to interact with our children. I think that's the most important thing to help them, not to occupy to gadget.
But what about parents who are working? I mean, there are parents who work 9 to 5, and sometimes it's hard to build connection with the child. The child is accompanied by the nannies, for example.
Or the grandparents.
Yes. Do you have any tips for them on how to, I don't know, to train the nannies or the other family members who are taking care of the child?
Okay. I think the most important thing at first, we have to have the same vision about the importance of engaging children outside the online or outside the digital stuff. So we have to synergize first, discuss with the nanny, discuss with the grandparents. I think discussing with the grandparents is also a challenge.
Very challenging, exactly.
So I think that's the first homework that we have to finish, having this vision. And then we can also provide all the tools, provide, all the resources. So outside the gadget, the children also have the resources to play with. And we can also ask our helper or nanny to, again, avoid using too much gadget when they are accompanying our children. So our children also know that they are with the nanny 100%. So I think that's also quite challenging, but we need to try before it's too late.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now we were talking off air. Maybe most kids, they were actually in a very good behavior during the week, during school week, because they are in a very strict routine.
Yeah.
You wake up, you eat breakfast, you go to school, you play there, and then you come back and do everything else. And then you probably don't have a lot of screen time during the week.
Yeah.
Then come weekend, we as parents, maybe we're here to blame too. We go, yeah, it's okay, take another hour of that.
Yeah.
But then come Monday, right? They're just crazy.
Like reset.
Exactly. So, do you have tips for us parents? Because, lucky us. What we can do to make sure that come Monday morning that everything is going to be back like clockwork again.
Okay, if you want to do that, you have to put more effort and more energy to help the kids.
There's no silver bullet here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, to help our kids to stay on the routine and also keep active and engaged in the activities outside the gadget. Again, if we want them to to be back at school with the same routine, we have to keep the routine during the weekend.
No screen time during weekend.
Well, you can. Again, it depends on the age of the child. But outside the gadget, we also need to engage them to explore the real world. So the goal is we want our children not only be skillful on screen, but also in the real life.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we need to put more energy and more effort.
Have you heard of this? Children see, children do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
People nowadays, parents nowadays, they're always on their gadgets because like maybe we don't play games, we don't scroll
Right.
the social media, but we work.
Yeah.
You know, we work on
Just
social
glued to
media
our gadgets.
too.
Yeah.
And then they see that every day.
Uh-huh.
Does it give bad impacts for them seeing the
Right.
parents like that?
I think you've already known the answer.
I just need a validation.
Validation, that's what we need.
And I need a solution. I need
Yeah.
a solution. What should we do? How to change, maybe become better?
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
example
Yeah.
for our
Yeah,
children?
yeah. Again, of course, yeah, children see, children do. If we, for example, we set an agreement with our kid that you have this limitation, so on and so forth, but then our children see us using gadget and we're glued to the gadget, it won't work. So I think one of the tips that I can give is we can set a special time with our children. So during the special time, there's no gadget. It's full interaction, engagement, and during the special time, we give them like 100% attention, and we allow our child, to lead the game.
Okay.
So we follow them. I think that's one of the tips that I can give. So you set special time for your kids.
Yep. And sometimes it's not about the quantity of the time, right? It's about the quality.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, both are important. If we don't have any quantity, how
Yes.
can we? How can
That
we
is true.
deliver quality time? So yeah, if you cannot do that, for a long period of time every day, at least spend like 1 hour every night before they go to bed,
Yeah.
and please accompany your child to bed with you. Don't let the nanny, bring them to bed.
Thank God I don't have a nanny.
Yeah, true. It's good. You get it under control there.
But some children, for example, like they already have a severe behavior problems because of the addiction of the gadget and needs professional help. So what do we do when it comes to tech-savvy parenting?
Okay, so first thing first, we have to acknowledge if there is problem. Sometimes it's not easy for us to accept that we have problem. So first thing first, we need to accept that okay, there is a problem, and the second step is please don't blame. Don't blame your spouse, don't blame yourself. So we focus on the solution and get help, ask professional. That's okay. Even a psychologist need another psychologist too. Because there's some stigma, that if we go to psychologist, ask for, advice from psychologist, it means that we are crazy or we are so bad, we are bad parents. No, it's okay to go to the psychologist, to psychiatrist, to ask for help, to ask for suggestions.
Now I want to go a little bit further on what Audrey was asking you just now. Mental illness. I have seen personally too, even though not direct, but it's on news. Kids having mental illness from having too much screen time. Now, how do we make sure we prevent that from happening for maybe not just a child, that we have maybe from kids around us?
Okay, I think we need to set the limit. First, we have talked about the time limits, but we also need to talk about the limitation of the content. We need to know what they watch, what they see, what they read, what they hear. So please do not leave your child alone when they are accessing gadget. And the other thing is we need to limit the ownership. So we need to help our children understand that the gadget that they use, it's not their own gadget. That's the parent's gadget that is lent to the children.
Okay.
So it will be easier for us to monitor, to control the usage of the gadget, and after they finish using the gadget, they can give it back to the parents, return it to the parents. So I think limitation of the ownership is also very important.
Okay. And how do we recognize the signs? For example, if one child is already going towards that mental illness from using too much gadget.
Okay. I think we can see from the changes, not only the behavioral changes, for example, in the past, before they are engaged too much to gadget, we can still talk with our child in the dining table, but now they tend to focus on their own, so that's behavioral changes that we can notice. And another thing we need to notice, is there any emotional changes? For example, they get easily upset, they get easily irritated. And if there's also any changes in their academic performance, maybe the teachers at school also give some reports. So that's also the changes that we can notice. And we can do something to prevent them to become more severe.
Wow, we learned so much today.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff that we have to cram in and then go home to our kids too. Right? And hopefully, thank you, Wuri, and hopefully we are going to be better parents for our kids, of course.
Now, before we end this talk, what do we have, Ranga?
We are going to play a game. We're going to play a game. Now, we have this game called Myth or Fact. So I'll read out a statement and you two, will have to guess whether it's a myth or fact.
Okay.
Then, Wuri here is going to reveal the answer afterwards.
I
All
will be
right,
the
girls, are you ready?
Okay.
I got how many here? 1, 2, 3. I got 5 questions.
Okay.
All right, number 1. Okay. Myth or fact? When children spend too much time with gadgets, it can lead to sleep disorders.
Fact. Definitely fact.
Yes.
Those are
What
facts?
do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, it's fact. Yeah.
Yes.
High five.
So you're good. You're good. So we go to number 2.
Or maybe you have
Yo,
more
explanation.
details.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah, actually, when we access gadget, we know that gadget produce blue light, right? And blue light will influence the production of melatonin in our brain, and melatonin responsible for helping our brain to soothe, to sleep. So using too much gadget will disrupt our melatonin and our sleeping rhythm.
So it's best to stay away from the gadgets maybe an hour before we sleep?
Yes, true. Yeah, at least 1 hour before we sleep.
Okay. Okay.
No gadgets, so we
Okay.
can read
Does
books.
that include TV?
Yes, actually, yes.
My goodness. Okay.
Not including books, because every time I read a book, I cannot stop, like, I cannot stop until the story's done. All right.
All right. Okay. Number 2, myth or fact? Okay. Letting children play with a gadget during mealtime can help them calm down.
This is difficult.
Can you repeat again?
Letting children play with a gadget during mealtime can help them calm down.
Oh.
Tricky.
Yeah.
I know.
Because it actually helped my child to calm.
Yes.
It's a myth.
I'll go with myth.
Yeah,
Myth?
me too.
What
But
do
it's
you-
actually, yeah, okay.
It's like half-half.
Is
Yes.
it possible like this?
Now, this is something I want to find out too. Wuri, can you
Yeah.
help
Well,
decide?
well, actually, it's a myth.
Okay. Good job, guys.
Well, actually, there's a recent research about that. How using gadget can soothe the children during mealtime, specifically mealtime.
Yes.
Well, even though we see that maybe it's like a quick remedy, we know that after giving them gadget, they will be calmer and we can focus on anything that we want to do. But actually, research found that using gadget to soothe down our child will lead to future emotional problems. So the impact is not now, but later in the future.
Write that down.
Okay, I am. Noted,
They got it
thank
right,
you.
so that's a myth.
That's a myth.
So you don't want to have a gadget in front of your kid when they're having lunch just because you think that's going to calm them down.
Yes, Yes.
But it's
not
difficult.
gonna work.
Of course.
It's difficult.
It is. It's very temporary solution.
Temporarily,
Okay.
All right, we have the next one. Myth or fact? Myth or fact is reading book at a young age can improve children's literacy skills.
Fact.
Fact.
Yeah.
What do you say to that? So it's fact.
It's fact.
Yes.
It's fact. Even though our children have not been able to read, but reading book to them can help them to understand that books are fun. They can also learn to associate between pictures and letters with the spoken words. So that's true. We can help them to improve their, literacy skills.
All right. Wow.
Okay, we are out of questions. So did you guys find that helpful, that game, the mini game? Who won, by the way?
We
Everybody?
both won.
Yeah.
We
Everybody.
answered it all correctly because we paid attention to
Yes,
it
yes.
earlier.
Yeah.
So, once again, thank you so much. Wonderful
pleasure.
insights. We learned so much.
Thank you for coming in. All right, guys, that was Wuri, Ardianingsih, and we talked about kids a lot and parenting, of course. And I hope you guys caught everything about that segment. Now, we're going to set for a quick break, and after that, we're going to return to See the Stories only on the 3-hour news show on See Today.